This is Front Up. I'm Jason Bridges, your host this week, and we're very lucky to have Florencia Rullo. How are you, Florencia?
I'm great. How are you, Jason?
Great. Thanks
Good.
for coming today on a biking over in a hot, humid day.
Yes, that's Nantucket in the summer.
It's hot out there, yeah.
It's still hot and cloudy for all of you that are there, and humid. But sun will come out.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you find Nantucket?
I'm from Rosario, Argentina.
Okay.
Messi's city for people that like soccer or football for us. Found Nantucket because I worked in hospitality over in Utah for many years.
In Utah? Okay.
Yes, Park City, Utah. And a lot of people were coming here. A lot of people were coming here as tourists or as employees of different hotels. And I felt curious. And of course I came, loved it, stayed.
When did you first come on Nantucket?
About 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. I felt like it was like a year ago, but that's when I met you.
Yes, and that's about a year, a little bit more that I stayed year round.
Okay. And so I first met you working for town administration, and you became the first ever public records officer. Is that right?
Record access officer.
Public
First
records
one.
access officer. Okay. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that? What that is? I don't think a lot of the public knows. It's a new thing in the state of Massachusetts, right?
Well, I mean,
Newer.
public records always existed.
Right.
But the new law requires every town to have a record access officer, which is the person in charge of, like the messenger in between the person that requests a record and the departments that have it, that possess those records.
Okay.
So my responsibility is to make sure that the requester gets an answer.
All right. So I call up and I say, hey, I need information and all these emails about this one subject. I'll just make something up, something with the water.
Yes.
Right. And you have to kind of abide by the state
Kind of
laws
need
and
to-
figure out how to get all this information.
Yes. Try to understand where can those records be, if they even exist, if there is some legal issue involved, and we might not be able to disclose those records. So it's very interesting. I'm on a long learning process, but it's not as difficult or as scary as it first came to me that it was going to be when you read public records request officer and law, but it was just
So you're the go-between between the public and the town administration or the department,
the
right?
departments.
Figuring out to get these records in a timely fashion. There's all these rules. We don't need to go into them because it's really detailed, but there's a lot of rules on how many days you
Yes.
have to
No.
get it to the public, right?
Yes, and a lot of communication with town council too for legal advice, and we do have the new software just FOIA that kind of facilitates everything for the requester and for us, and that's online. So that's kind of one of my responsibilities with the town.
Right, so that's one responsibility. A second one is I see you on Wednesday nights taking minutes for the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Yes,
How's that going?
that's going well now. It's been quite a while.
It's not easy taking
since
minutes, right? People think like, oh, you record everything. It's much more complicated than that.
It is not easy knowing what people might want to read later or the information that might be useful later, because basically it's just that. You don't want to, if you want to know everything that was discussed, then you just watch the video.
Right.
This is much faster, and well, of course it's required too that we need to know who voted for what and how the discussion went, and it's just to have like a summary of what happened in the meeting. And it's not easy, but thank God that I have Erica. And
Erica Mooney,
yes,
right? Yeah.
she's the best, and she, since moment number one, her notes were very clear, so I kind of knew where I needed to go.
Okay. What's the hardest thing about taking minutes? Because the select boards, I mean, all the boards
When
and
the board
commissions.
approves it
Oh, right.
or not, that is.
But that happens most of the time. Every once in a while, they'll make a
Yes.
change. I didn't really mean that when I said this, and they'll change it.
Yes,
and
makes sense.
yeah.
No, but once you get used to it, it's kind of, and once you know what's going on in each meeting, because before taking minutes, we went through the process of collecting all the information, putting it in a packet, so I know where the discussion is going to go. When I started, I was so lost as to what was
Right.
going on in the town and the discussions that they were having, but Now that I spend there 8 hours per day every day, and it's impossible once you work for the town not to be involved in everything that's happening
Yeah.
in the town in general. Then it's much easier to know how the meeting is going to go.
All right. Let me ask you this. So if there's a 45-minute conversation in the board level about marijuana on Nantucket, and it's just a discussion, and they're exchanging ideas, how much of that do you take down for minutes? Because they say there's no decision being made, right? There's no vote, there's no decision. How do you...
I take a lot, and I used to do it handwritten, and then I started using my computer, which kind of, to me, was faster because I kind of was born with a keyboard in my hand,
Right.
so it's very easy. But then I take a lot of things and sentences and things that people say, and then when I go through it, I'm like,
So it's better to take more
yes.
than less, because you can always pare it down when you put it out for review.
And you
or
take
for,
out most of the things, yes. It's
right.
very interesting.
Is there anything else you do in this position that we don't know about, that people need to know?
Packet, collecting, well, of course that every Wednesday, well, today we have at 8 o'clock a meeting with Erica and Libby to discuss the agenda that we're gonna send tomorrow.
The agenda for the Board of Selectmen meeting the following week.
Yes.
So you're reviewing that on Thursday. Today's
Correct.
Thursday, yeah. Right, for the next Wednesday. And then it's finalized
tomorrow.
on Friday.
Yes.
So the Board of Selectmen and the public get the packet on Friday.
Yes.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whenever you guys can get it done.
Hopefully throughout the weekend they get to read it
Right.
and be informed by what's gonna happen next week. And then from Friday until Wednesday, things might come up. And they might have to be added to the agenda, and that's something that happens. Not always, but it does sometimes.
I know that's one of Erica's favorite things when she has to add in a bunch of stuff Monday and Tuesday.
When we need to amend the agenda.
You just kind of jumped into another position on top of all this, correct?
Yes.
My old position?
Yes.
Kind of, right? So
Yes.
I used to be public outreach manager, and that's how I got to know you.
That's
And
true.
so I'm not there anymore. And you took over the public outreach position, which now is public outreach coordinator.
Person. Public outreach person.
Yeah, the POP, the POC, the POM. Regardless, it's
Yes.
it's. What do you do? Like, kind of what's some of your days look like? Because I remember it's very different.
Yes, and I'm still trying to balance how each of my days going. Because today I know that I need to dedicate most of the hours to Board of Selectmen meetings, for example, agenda and packet, but then each department is passing information to me that needs to go out, and at the same time I'm learning a lot about how our web is built and what information.
Our website?
Yes, our website, and what information is needed, and so it's a lot of being more out, maybe not that much in the office as I used to be. Like, I don't know, I'm going to cabinets meeting and talking more with each department, dealing with, well, Twitter, Newsflash, and, well, all of our social media.
So all the departments have all this information, all these things that they're doing that the public needs to know about. And one of your jobs, your task is trying to get it out on different platforms,
Correct.
right? Sometimes on Twitter. We don't really do much, at least I didn't do much on Facebook. Every once in a while, you're kind of watching it, but email blast, press releases, announcing things on Geno TV, when Libby does an interview, or hey, maybe this needs to go in announcements for the select board, right? You have all these different outlets of trying to get the information out. It's a lot of information.
That is a lot of information, and that's why it's so important to be in constant communication with the departments and for them to know that you are there and you're accessible to them and to the public. If they don't pass on information to you, it's very difficult for one person to know everything that's going on. And then, of course, that it's your decision to know what's important and what's not. You don't want to blast people with information all the time.
Right. So
What might be useful for them to know.
So someone's calling you, you're getting emails on, say, a bridge that's not passable now, like in Matticat, the bridge there. How much information do you put out? I remember you get just enough information, but it wasn't really enough to put out to the public for a press release. So you're always trying to dig in for more information, because when you put a tweet out, you're going to get 5 more questions. Did you find that challenging?
Yes. Well, not really. That really hasn't happened. Sometimes, for example, with this concept bridge, that it's so important to the community,
Yep.
and we don't know yet when will it be finished,
Right.
the construction or the rebuild of it. But it's important to keep them in touch every day that advances are being made,
Right.
and just let people know that it's happening and that it might be soon that it will be finished. But then when I don't know information, it's like if you're a little bit of a reporter, you keep pushing and asking departments, because at the end they are the ones with the information, or they might not know it, but it's important to at least get it out. We know when it's going to be done. We don't know, but we are working.
So one other thing that people don't know about you is you speak a lot of languages. How many?
Not as many as as I wish I did.
You can say 5.
Let's say.
Speak 5 languages, yeah. So how did you make it from Argentina to Nantucket?
Well, I used to work for a translation company back in Argentina, and that's how I came here.
Okay.
But not to Nantucket. I used to live in Park City, Utah for a long time, and that's how I started working in the hospitality business. And
Okay.
I guess that's how most people end up in Nantucket. And just came to Nantucket. Who doesn't love it? I loved it, and it was such a random place to live. I come from a very big city in Argentina.
Right.
Just to come to this small place that is so beautiful, and to me it was very curious to know how it is in the winter in comparison to the summer, and I just loved it even more, I think.
So if you love winter on Nantucket, this is your place.
Yes, it's your place, right? I think that people either love Nantucket or they just find it very difficult to deal with how busy it is in the summer, how quiet it becomes in the winter. But
you love both. I love both.
I love both.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, we're very lucky.
Well, thank you for coming. Thanks for coming on
to you.
Fun.
Thanks
Really
to
great
you for
talking to
inviting
you.
me. All right.
Yeah. Good luck this year.
Good luck this year to you too. Congratulations on your work segment. New life.
Thank you.